Hello everyone, welcome to Box Office Receipts. I'm your host Tyler Callahan, and we got a bit of news to talk about as Paramount have gone ahead and fired their CEO. Along with that, we got a list from Deadline of the most profitable movies, as well as the biggest bombs from last year. You can already have an idea of who's on the list. We got the latest box office numbers and streaming updates. Let's start with the domestic top 5. Opening in first place is Challengers with $15 million. This is the tennis film starring Zendaya. Opening in second place is Unsung Hero with $7.7 million. Third place was Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire with $7.2 million for a total of $181.6 million. In fourth place was Civil War with another $7 million for a total now of $56.1 million. And in fifth place was Abigail with $5.2 million for a total of $18.7 million. For Amazon MGM Studios, that's not a bad opening at all for Challengers. And for director Luca Guadagnino, it's the biggest opening weekend of his career. The only slight problem here is the film cost $50 million to make, so it does need to have a bit of a solid run at the box office, but it's possible. In China, Twilight of the Warriors Walden came in first place to $5.5 million in previews. The film officially opens on May 1st. In second place was Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire with $3.4 million for a total of $125.3 million. Third place was The Boy and the Heron with $2.5 million for a total of $106.2 million. Fourth place was Viva La Vida with another $1.1 million for a total of $37.4 million. And in fifth place was Kung Fu Panda 4 with $864,000 for a total of $48.2 million. There should be a few new releases for the next week that will give a boost to the Chinese box office. So for the international box office, Challengers earned $9 million and is now at a worldwide total of $25 million. It opened in Australia and New Zealand last weekend. In a preview for next weekend, The Fall Guy opened in a few international markets, earning $8.7 million. And in Korea, the Roundup Punishment is doing solid numbers, earning $29.4 million so far. As for other films, Kung Fu Panda 4 earned $11.7 million for a worldwide total of $503.5 million. The First Omen earned $2 million for a worldwide total of $50.2 million. Abigail is now at $28.6 million. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is at $188 million. And Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire is now at $519.3 million worldwide. So for news in Hollywood, let's start with Paramount, which seems to be a common occurrence with how much has been happening. While it was rumored to be happening last week, it is now official with CEO Bob Bakish leaving the company effective immediately. As of now, there will be no direct replacement. Instead, an office of the CEO will be created with 3 members as part of it: Brian Robbins, George Cheeks, and Chris McCarthy. In a statement from the board of directors, they had this to say, quote, "The creation of the office of the CEO will enable the company to accelerate growth and strengthen operations. We look forward to working with George, Chris, and Brian as they execute on key initiatives to enhance performance and value creation at Paramount Global," end quote. Besides being against the Skydance deal, I wonder if anything else happened behind the scenes for Redstone and Bakish's relationship to fall apart. But overall, the handling of this has been a mess. As for Bakish, he will be receiving a severance of around $48 million. So, not doing too bad. Speaking of the Skydance deal, they have returned with an updated offer, one they call Best and Last. Some key points is it is now including a $3 billion cash injection into the company. This would mostly be used to pay off the outstanding debts they have. It also includes an improved offer for the non-voting Class B shares, but at the cost of Sherry Redstone taking a bit of a pay cut on her part. Right after this happened, the exclusive negotiation window between Paramount and Skydance ended, and Sony and Apollo reached out asking to work on negotiating their offer of $26 billion. However, Variety has reported that Paramount will not move forward with either offer, and that Redstone is not a fan of the new Skydance offer as well. So while Paramount will continue to review both offers, it is still very much up in the air as to what happens next. From Deadline, they have done their annual biggest bombs of the year, as well as their most profitable blockbuster tournament. For the most profitable blockbusters, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse came in third, Barbie came in second, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie came in first place, with an estimated net $559 million for the studio. As for the biggest bombs, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny came in third, The Flash came in second, and the biggest bomb of the year was The Marvels, with an estimated loss of $237 million. While there were a lot of bombs last year at the box office, The Marvels topping them is not surprising considering it did exceedingly bad, especially for a Marvel film. For casting updates, Deadline has the exclusive on this, and that is Paul Walter Hauser has signed on for 2 new films. He will be joining the Naked Gun reboot at Paramount, which will be led by Liam Neeson, and he has also joined the Fantastic Four. Jeff Bridges is set to go back to the Tron franchise. As he has mentioned, he will be in Tron Ares. Rosamund Pike has signed on to join the upcoming Now You See Me 3 over at Lionsgate. Deadline got the exclusive on this, and that is A24 has signed on to be the domestic distributor for Huntington. This is the revenge thriller film from Studio Canal starring Glenn Powell, and now also starring Ed Harris and Margaret Qualley. Sadly, there were a few deaths this week. Bernard Hill died at the age of 79. He was an actor that starred in both films and TV shows. For films, he was most known for The Lord of the Rings and Titanic. As for shows, he will actually be seen in the upcoming second season of The Responder on BBC. Barbara O. Jones has died at the age of 82. She was an actress that starred in films including Daughter of the Dust and Bush Mama. Edgar Lansbury died at the age of 94. He was most known for his Broadway work, but also did some TV and film work as well, including Blue Sunshine and The Wild Party. Brian McCarty died suddenly at the age of 59. He was an actor most known for his role in the BBC series Line of Duty. Paul Auster died at the age of 77. He was a writer most known for the New York trilogy, but also wrote the screenplay for the film Smoke and directed a film as well called Lulu on the Bridge. Zach Norman has died at the age of 83 due to natural causes. He appeared in numerous TV shows and films, including The A-Team, Baywatch, and Romancing the Stone. And Daniel Zeril has died at the age of 58. He was a director, writer, and producer. He most recently directed and co-wrote Invincible back in 2022 at Lionsgate. Thoughts and prayers are with their families during this time. May they rest in peace. And sadly, there are layoffs as well, with Deadline exclusively reporting that the VFX firm DNEG is starting to lay off employees specifically in the UK and in Canada, with possibly 5% of the workforce being cut. Hopefully they're able to land on their feet as soon as possible. There are a few new films in development. In Hollywood, The Hollywood Reporter broke the news that 20th Century Studios is looking to bring back the Maze Runner franchise. The studio is looking to hire Jack Paglin to write the script for a new Maze Runner film. Universal have hired Andrew Hay to direct and write a film about Leonardo da Vinci. The film will be based on the biography written by Walter Isaacson. Hay recently directed All of Us Strangers last year. An exclusive from Deadline, they are reporting that A24 is teaming up with the Talk to Me directors on a new horror film. Danny and Michael Filippo will direct Bring Her Back, with Sally Hawkins set to star in it, and it's moving ahead pretty quick, with production set to begin in the summer. Deadline also broke the news that A24 also bought a new film package. The film is an action thriller called Onslaught and will be directed by Adam Wingard, with a script written by Wingard and Simon Barrett. The studio will deal with worldwide distribution, and production is set to begin in the fall. And there is a film package headed to the Cannes Film Festival, with Deadline also breaking the news on the death of Robin Hood. A darker take on the character is set to be directed by Michael Sarnowski, with a script written by him as well, and the film will be led by Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer. Assuming someone buys the distribution rights, production is set to start next February. In release date news, Terrifier 3 will be coming to theaters in the US on October 11th, moving up 2 weeks from its previous release date. And Amazon MGM Studios have set Masters of the Universe to come out June 5th, 2026. And for trailers, we got one, which was from Disney, and it is a teaser for Mufasa: The Lion King. The prequel will be one of the big holiday movies coming out December 20th. We start out VOD Premium with Peacock, where they are set to raise prices as we get closer to the Summer Olympics. Starting on July 18th, Peacock Premium with ads will cost $7.99, and Peacock Premium almost ad-free will cost $13.99 per month. Both will be increased by $2 compared to their current price. As for annual prices, both tiers will be going up $20 to $79.99 and $139.99 respectively. This summer will be a big one for the streamer as they look to pull out all the stops to get people to watch many, many hours of the Olympics. Paramount Plus announced that Knuckles has already become the most watched original series on the streaming service, with 4 million hours watched in its premiere weekend. I take it then we will see it on the Nielsen top 10 charts in a few weeks. Also, a date has been set for the second season of Criminal Minds Evolution, with it premiering with 2 episodes on June 6th. Paramount, in the middle of everything going on, did release their quarterly earnings. For Paramount Plus, it looks like the Super Bowl provided a boost as overall subscribers went from 65.7 million to 71 million worldwide. Along with that, streaming losses continue to drop, with it coming in at 288 million for the quarter. This time last year, it was $510 million for a loss on the quarter. So $500 million down to 288. Still huge losses, but they are making progress. Noticeably for the earnings call, they did not take any questions from analysts, considering they just fired their CEO. I'm not sure why they wouldn't want to say anything. But yeah, numbers, considering everything, pretty good, but they still have work to do. In the midst of taking on Vudu, Fubo have dropped channels from Warner Brothers Discovery. From its lineup, their side of the story was that the company was not negotiating in good faith, with them looking for above market rates for their channels. On top of that, Fubo wanted to license the company's sports channels separately, which Warner Brothers Discovery also refused to do. I will say, while Warner Brothers Discovery is free to do what they want in regards to negotiation, this does not paint them in a good light, especially with the pending lawsuit. Part of Fubo's statement on the issue had this to say. Quote, Warner Brothers Discovery's refusal to offer Fubo standard market terms and packaging flexibility are more examples of the unfair and anti-competitive practices it and other vertically integrated media companies have imposed on Fubo for many years. End quote. Now, Warner Brothers Discovery was stuck in a hard place here, rock in a hard place, you could say. Because on one hand, they could offer the sports channels separately for Fubo, get the negotiations done, and move on. This would also help them in the lawsuit because they could say, well, actually, we did work out a deal with them. So they don't have a leg to stand on, which I think would work. But the problem is if they make a deal for Fubo, then YouTube TV, Hulu, DirecTV, all the other cable providers will want to come out and have something similar. And that's something Warner Brothers Discovery does not want to do. So the lawsuit is going to get interesting. Over in the UK, a new free streaming service has launched called Freely. The purpose of the new service is for customers to watch live TV channels as well as some on-demand content as well. It is backed by the public service broadcasters, including BBC, ITV, Channel 4, and Channel 5. We talked about it earlier. The second season of The Responder, starring Martin Freeman, is set to premiere on May 5th on BBC One and BBC iPlayer in the UK, and internationally, it'll be available on BritBox later in the summer. For Prime Video, Variety reports that they have gone ahead and renewed Alex Cross for a second season ahead of the series premiere. We still don't know when the show will actually have its premiere, just that the lead role is played by Aldous Hodge. Fallout continues to be a big hit for the streamer, with Prime Video saying it got 65 million viewers in its first 16 days, and that is already the second most watched title ever for them. Again, kind of like how they said how big Roadhouse was, the issue here is it is not clear what is counted as a viewer, but still, based on everything else we have available, yeah, Fallout is a massive hit. Prime Video also released a trailer for the upcoming 4th season of The Boys. It is set to premiere on June 13th. Disney Plus released a trailer for the Beatles movie, Let It Be, and will be available to watch starting May 8th. And available to watch on Hulu from FX is The Veil. This is a thriller miniseries starring Elizabeth Moss. We got the Nielsen Top 10 for the week of April 1st to the 7th. And for the overall top 10 chart, it was kind of close. First place was The Resident with 1.18 billion minutes. Second place was Grey's Anatomy with 1.14 billion minutes watched. And in third place was Bluey with 1.07 billion minutes, which came in fourth place with 1.01 billion minutes watched as well. For the streaming originals top 10, Three Body Problem came in first place with 937 million minutes watched. Wrapping up with Netflix, Tilda Swinton is joining Colin Farrell in The Ballad of a Small Player, which will be directed by Edward Berger. Variety reports that Netflix is close to a deal for a live-action Scooby-Doo show. If it does happen, it will be produced by Warner Brothers Television for the streamer. As for what is out now, a new miniseries is available to watch called A Man in Full, starring Jeff Daniels, and the streamer released a trailer for Eric, another limited series starring Benedict Cumberbatch, and that premieres on May 30th. And we got the Netflix top 10 for the week of April 22nd to the 28th. For English films, Rebel Moon Part 2 The Scargiver stayed in first place with another 18.8 million views. Anyone But You came in second place with 10.6 million views, and Woody Woodpecker Goes to Camp came in third place with 9.2 million views. As for the English TV shows, Baby Reindeer continues to blow up. It stayed in first place again, but increased in views, getting 22 million views for the week. Second place was Dead Boy Detectives with a debut of 3.1 million views. That seems pretty weak for a debut, but let's see what happens in the coming weeks. And in third place was Unlocked, a jail experiment with 2.5 million views. And as if for this week's episode of Box Office Receipts, if you want to follow me on Threads, X, or Instagram, links to those are in the show notes. Thank you for listening. See you next time.